you should go ahead and surrender. I can't keep up. Now we got, oh yeah, no, we're going to cut out this, we're going to hold off on the raids. Now they're resuming to 3,000 daily arrest quota. I need you all to just press the brakes for a minute and put your car in park and take a deep breath. It's so much going on right now. Who wants to see this kind of destruction and people's lives being upset like this? What do you get out of that? I just want you to ask yourself, what are you really getting out of this? And all this fear that's wrapped up in people's brains and in their mind, oh, they're coming to kill me, so because they're coming to kill me, I gotta kill these first mentality. So we wipe everybody out, and then who's left? I don't think you guys are taking the time to think this thing through, and you're causing this beast to continuously grow. I need y'all to stop. Just stop and think for a minute. Good God Almighty.
First Lady, you know what's interesting? Sorry, my nose sounds crazy because I went through surgery a couple days ago. This morning I woke up, right? And important MAGA loyalists were saying some pretty normal things to me. And that was interesting, right? So you have like Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Tulsi Gabbard saying some things kind of like walking away from Steve Bannon. You have people walking away from Trump to be like, wait, like there's actually fractioning of people in MAGA who are actually, I think that's probably the silver lining, is them being like, oh, this is crazy. Like, we truly don't have a leader. Like, this guy, he, as much as, you know, a masterclass negotiator as that he wanted to say that he was, he's tweeting from Truth Social. It's weak. It's weak.
Well, we knew that in 2016, but they didn't know. So thank God that their eyes are just opening. Like what? How many years later? Yeah.
It's just so wild to me. But like, it's wild that Spain has the courage to be like, we need an embargo against, you know, Israel, right? And the U.S. right now, before Trump got back, before Trump gets back to America, they had to make legislation so that he doesn't go to war with Iran.
I mean, please, I don't want to go to war with Iran. I don't want my child to be drafted to go to war with Iran.
Nobody does. And that's the thing. It's such a losing, like, no one wants war, right? But when your approval rating is low, when you're creating phones that look like gold bars, when you are not even able to look at Macron and look at world leaders in the face because you know that they know that you're cowards. What else do you have to lose? And that's where we are.
El Normo apparently wants a war with Iran, so yeah.
Well, El Normo wants to feel safe. That's his thing. El Normo wants to feel safe and feeling like Israel's actions are justifiable after everything that we saw for 20 months. That's what El Normo wants, and that narrative is kind of why I started speaking up on this app, because I've heard that so many times, and a lot of people, you know, especially El Normo, will go, hey, that's anti-Semitic. But being anti-war is not anti-Semitic. And in fact, when I was no war, my no war position was no war, period. But the thing is if I said, hey, these Palestinian children look like they're getting fucked with, and then someone says, oh, you're a Hamas sympathizer, I don't have any sympathy for that side. Like, it's not an it's not this anti-Semitic thing to not want war, right? So I just need to throw that out there.
I think James Baldwin, who originally was an ally with, he wrote a lot of books about Black and Jewish relationships, especially in the United States. When he was invited into Israel, he saw a different kind of Israel. And when he left, he wrote, I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm anti-Zionist.
Well, let me tell you something. You guys not gonna pull me down no rabbit hole. Talk about I'm anti this and I'm anti-Semitic. You know, they can go and put their middle finger up their anus because we're here talking about children. And they're talking about the welfare of children makes me this, makes me that, so you can prove a point. I know who you are, you know who I'm talking to. You put your middle finger up your rectum. Nobody in here is anti anything, it's about the children. Period. People are starving. There's no reason for them to be. Is there a reason? Is there a reason? Is there a reason for these people to be starving at this point? Anybody?
No.
No,
And
there's
to use
more than food.
To use food as a weapon is highly disgusting.
Yeah. Deplorable.
Yeah,
Not only are they using. Sorry,
have you seen the split screen? No, Dan has calling Miss Lisa. Lisa's fine.
Sorry.
If you see, and it's not even my real name, but if you see a split screen of, what's going on, they can live their life across the way over there, and what's going on in Gaza is enough to make you want to vomit. Okay, it doesn't make sense for people in this day and age to be over there, stomach to their spine, starving. So now Ozempic and Mounjaro, they're just starving to death. It makes no sense.
When he says it's 100% on Hamas, like, first of all, normal is, I don't know, normal is abnormal. I don't know. Honestly, I've spoken to him billions of times on this app, and I don't know if he's going through some kind of crisis that he thinks he's like a young buck, a spring chicken, and he can go and fight. But sir, sit several seats down. Just stop. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna be, if God forbid, if we enter this war, and I hope we do not, it's gonna be our young children, the young youth that's gonna enter this war.
Right.
And I don't want my son, who's about to be 17, to enter this war. I'm sorry.
Hell no.
We don't want the people who are already enlisted. People in here have people who are enlisted right now. They're sitting on these ships.
Absolutely.
They're just as much danger. And this knucklehead, Haiti says, if they return, y'all ain't looking for the hostages. You're too busy starting wars other places. Get out of here with that
You're
bullshit.
right.
It has nothing to do with feeding people either. Food. It has nothing to do with that. So they can't eat, they can't have water, they can't do nothing until they give your hostage back. But first of all, the little kids don't have your fucking hostages, you motherfucking piece of shit. They don't have them. So go feed your children. And then come back with this bullshit.
Sorry, also, how much do they care about the hostages? If you're starving the children and the women in the Gaza Strip, obviously our hostages are starving too. Think about that. I'm just like, that's just not
you gotta pay attention to who you're talking to. A lot of these people like Norm, who he mentioned that he goes back and forth with Israel, he probably served in IDF and probably killed some innocent people. You know what I'm saying? Like, he probably killed these kids and blew up and pulled the trigger.
That's a fair question.
Be careful who you're talking to.
That is a fair
And
question.
you have to do follow-up questions. Who are you? Have you served in the military, in the IDF? I think Norm just said in chat he did, probably, right? So no wonder he doesn't give a fuck, because he's a person that's doing it actively.
And over there, they have to serve. Yeah.
Exactly, it's a mandatory for every person.
And a reminder to the
it's
room.
people like Norm who actually promote the reasons why there is anti-Semitism. It is people like him who actually makes Jews like myself less safe globally. Him and people like him. We have seen them on the stage, we've seen them on the set. They do not care about the wanton death. They don't. And so the anti-Semitism that he claims to want to run away from or combat actually just comes from himself.
Yeah, but the thing is, I keep asking myself, why do you have to make it so difficult for, like, even people who want to have sympathy for Israel and the rest of them? Why do you have to make it so difficult for everybody? I mean, we listen to him, and this is not the first room I'm listening to him. Why do you have to make it so difficult? I still don't get it. I just don't.
And just for posterity, wants to see a video of a child dying, so that way he could delete this app because he doesn't believe that that's true. And number one, I call bullshit. And number two, when you constantly hear this whole thing about Israel defending itself, when you attack Iran because of it was a preemptive strike, right? Preemptive military strike. If America were to do that, we would call the bluff right away and be like, yo, are we doing this again? So, all of this stuff about, the kids, show me the kids, and this take it's super weak, because when you're listening to it, you realize that it's not about the hostages. If it was about the hostages, we would see, the fact that Israel targeted a precision strike on Iran and got their building precisely striked to, their media, their state-sponsored media, it's interesting that they would be able to precisionally carry out an exercise a routine to get their own hostages out. But he's acting like that's a world in which this can't happen. As smart as the Israeli IDF is, somehow that can't happen.
How effective the Iron Dome is.
Can I just go next for a second? I feel that hypocrisy is that when Russia decided to do, and mind you, I'm just looking at the hypocrisy. When Russia said we're doing a preemptive strike, oh my God, NATO, come on, sanction him, Russia and stuff like that. But when Israel does it, oh, we need to back up Israel. Some Zion literally said that Bibi Netanyahu is the light of the world. What? You literally have NATO against Russia, right? Sanction Russia because Russia felt that, and that's what Russia feels. I don't agree with Russia and what they're doing to Ukraine. Ukraine is a sovereign country, has a right to be a sovereign country. But if you're doing this to Russia, who struck first, right? Why are you not doing the same thing to Israel, who struck first?
Exactly. The dumbest thing in the hypocrisy.
Where's Trent saying in the chat, y'all?
Can I please just go next?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So that's me, Pharaoh, and for those who are asking about videos, you could just go to Instagram. There is a page called i.on.palestine. Keep scrolling there, you'll see a lot of kids dying, so it's just insane that we have to prove this after thousands of people dying. Another thing, just quickly I want to say, this is the month of June. 10 days ago, it was the memory of the USS Liberty. It was an American Navy ship in the Mediterranean Sea that was attacked by the IDF. 34 American soldiers died, 171 were injured. And please Google it and read the details are horrific. And for some reason, the people were not talking about it much, but I don't get it. Why is Israel doing this to US? And the main thing that I don't get as well is, why would anyone believe Benjamin Netanyahu, who's been lying about this weapon of mass destruction since 15 years? He dragged US to fight Iraq, and what happened? Million Iraqi died, thousands of Americans died, and post-traumatic PTSD. And he's doing that again. Luckily, this guy is super evil, and he would keep fighting everyone and anyone, because he knows the minute the war is over, he's going to jail. And it's so insane that the world is letting someone like this control the lives of millions of people and dragging countries, and no one can stop him. This is insane. So please remember, on Palestine on Instagram, and Google USS Liberty. Thank you.
I just shared it, Fedo. I just shared an Instagram of Eye on Palestine, which is a pretty good one. And I think it's important to just say that this whole thing is just the U.S. trying to figure out right now if we're about to get into a war with Israel and Iran. And the fact that you're seeing people, especially if you see El Normo freaking out, something that you already know, like shit's about to go off. We're not trying to be a part of that. We don't claim that. That's not our energy. When it comes to, when someone posted a really good question, like when it comes to Russia and being like, well, wait, where's that's interesting. Where's it's like a double negative. Like things for Israel go according, they can do whatever they want, but then Russia does the same shit and we have all this heat for them. Well, that makes sense.
And these can get, Iran aspirations. Let's not forget, this thing can go into a full-blown, North Korea saying they might give Iran a nuclear bomb, Russia's backing Iran, China has something to say about Iran. This thing could spiral out of control real quick. It's not a good move.
Yeah, when you start to see MAGA loyalists starting to question if they have the right president, that definitely shows you that something's working. Right? Like, hopefully the message gets past to Trump that we're not going to be in this war.
At what expense?
From what Trent is saying is too late. What Trent posted in the chat is already, in motion right now. And things are moving around, so.
I'm gonna put this article in. This is from the BBC, and it's for those of you who are very sensitive. The baby is a 6-month-old baby, and it's dying of malnourish. I think they were able to take a couple of children out of the Gaza Strip to Jordan to get to see doctors. So there's the article right there.
Normalize stalling in Nazi norm until he deletes the app.
Also, right, and let him know too. He's saying that no one likes
Mind you,
terrorist
that's a 6-month-old. I would like to also add that's a 6-month-old.
Yeah, that's important. Israel is absolutely a terror state right now. Though El Norma wants to know one child that we died of starvation. Look at the Instagram that Fedo just mentioned.
And I just put the BBC article of the baby who's 6 months old that's dying of starvation that they had to take out of the Gaza Strip and is heading to Jordan for treatment.
So unacceptable.
That's a 6-month-old baby, by the way. If any of you have, we all know what a 6-month-old healthy baby look like. They got rolls for days. It's very cute.
Start dropping them in the comments. Norm needs to see them, apparently. I'll do.
Oh, yeah, I put it there.
So when Israel wonders why their children look like that, if Iran hits, they will understand that it probably has something to do with them not being able to have a decent governor, like a person who can't govern their own country through war. That's really not on us.
I think that any of these things will change Norm's mind. You guys have been on the app with Norm for 2 years. He has been consistent. He's been the most consistent person I've ever met.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, he's consistent. He's definitely on brand.
It's been the most consistent person, so I don't know if there's any of this yet.
They condemn Russia for killing 14 people in Kiev. This is too much.
Also, what's going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz and Tucker Carlson all saying that Fox News is, that they're propaganda? It feels like it's 10 years too late.
Yeah, because they've always been. Even their own side sees it.
Yeah, I really hope they would go.
Sorry, I read somewhere that a lot of libertarians who voted for Trump are also against this war. Libertarians don't like war also, so.
I'm sorry.
A lot of them are being vocal.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but whoever was voting for Trump should have known, let's explain, that Trump was going to fight Iran. What's all this pretense? Unless you're British, you don't know. Trump was going to fight Iran. There was no hard or fast rule. You furnish that. Anyways, so I don't get this pretense. Oh, we didn't know what.
So I have a question. I know the Vietnam War was called an undeclared war because Congress didn't approve it. But isn't Congress like the coins, like the one that does the budget and the money, right? Doesn't the president have to go to Congress to say to go to war?
The Congress authorizes war. The president can declare war, and then the Congress authorizes it. So that's why you had all those bills that were signed when Trump was on his way back from G7.
So
It's so dumb.
So remember, there's something they call the AUMF, Authorization to Use Military Force. Now that's an approval that was granted during the time of the Iraqi war that people and presidents have, flouted and bent the rule to say we're going back to that approval of AUMF. Now, that's why if you notice today, a man called Thomas Massey, who's a Republican but leans towards being a libertarian, brought out the Iran prohibition, war, something about saying he's going to present it in Congress. Now, the problem is Trump, right? Trump, if they allow Trump bring out on tariffs that he doesn't have the power to do, make laws on immigration that he doesn't bring out EOs that he doesn't have the power to do. Why are they crying about him making out EOs and giving authority to strike Iran when they refused to check him when he was being foolish? So you refuse to check Trump when he does the things you like because he's against the people you don't like. Now all of a sudden you're now claiming to be morally. Again, like I said, anybody that voted for Trump, sit this one out. Anybody that voted for Trump, don't come and tell me, oh, you care about children, I love children, oh, children are dying. I mean, everybody knew Trump's position on Israel. Everybody knew that. There's no hard or fast rule. Everybody knew his position. But you decided that whatever you hate, whether it's gay, trans, immigrants, was way more important to you than thinking about children in Gaza. So I don't buy all this fake cry outrage. It doesn't interest me because you knew. Anyway.
I don't know.
Sorry,
I just want to answer. Before you ask a question, I just want to answer real quick for the person who asked the question earlier. The loophole is that what you're referencing in Vietnam is that the commander-in-chief has the ability to deploy troops. So that's the loophole. So that means you would still need Congress to fund the war, but I mean, he can deploy troops. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So I just wanted, Odi, what you said was exactly what because when Trump got in, I told my dad, I was like, look, this guy's going to go to war with Iran. But my dad was like, I haven't seen any evidence that he likes war, that they think he doesn't like war. And I said, why did he have the Iranian general in his first term assassinated if he knows he didn't want to go to war with them? But that notwithstanding, if he now decides, I'm asking the question now to the room, if Trump now decides that the troops stationed there, if he sends an order to them that they should go on the attack, what now happens? Is it that I don't know how I'm framing the question, if it makes sense, because he is the commander-in-chief, he is the one that commands the military. If he tells them to do something at that point in time, Congress and who have not given them the authorization to start war, what now happens? What's next?
Well, Congress controls the money, right? Can Congress not fund the war?
That's a good question. This man's crazy.
Yeah, they can. That's what I'm saying. They can, but I mean, if he already commits the troops, he kind of it puts them in a hard spot where they have to decide. Okay, are we gonna let them not have access to the funds that they need, or are we gonna force them to withdraw?
It happened already, like in Vietnam. So there's a precedent already.
Yeah, there is a precedent.
There's some bars in the chat. Aleph just said a sanctuary of madness, leaders who weaponize trauma, Hamas's martyrdom, Iran's victimhood, and Israel's Holocaust memory. Bars.
Wait, I read somewhere. Let me look for the article that Iran's, when it comes to their ballistic missiles, like they're overtaking Israel and the United States. Let me look for the article.
Yeah, Israel sent it. It's in its how do you say it? Find out period, I guess. Right now, they're saying another round of missiles launched towards Israel by the Islamic Republic 5 minutes ago.
You know, I don't know how to feel about that. At the end of the day, I think any large loss is a horrible thing, especially when it comes to war. You know what I mean? But I don't know how. I'm kind of conflicted because as a person that believes in God, and a humanitarian, you're not supposed to be like, oh, they're getting what they deserve. Look what they did to the Gazans, to the Palestinians,
Yeah,
because that 3-year-old or that 3-year-old or that baby that's living inside Israel doesn't know what's happening, So I'm extremely conflicted. I am. I want to feel a certain way, but then I feel that I'm wrong if I feel that way.
Well, I think it's important to remember that, like, not wanting death is probably the best. It's like the one thing that you can rely on as humans that we just don't want, right? And so it's not like, people should be happy that this is happening to Israel. I think it's the fact that it shows the duplicity and the ill intent when people want to come up on the stage and talk about, hey, like, we have a right to protect ourselves. Yeah, I guess you do, but if you spent 20 months, genociding and killing a group of people, and then you want some sort of help right now, you're going to have a hard time in the world looking for it.
Yeah, and I don't know if they care, or maybe they're just in their little box in Israel. But I don't think they realize how the world views them. They're not the whole world views them as the enemy. Like, they views them as, like, how do you not care about babies dying and suffering, How are you, like, the way they're giving, especially with how they're giving out the food and stuff like that, it's on some Mad Max shit. What is going on?
Yeah.
Why do you think I said they make it so difficult for people to want to, like, even have sympathy for them? And that's why I still don't.
I agree, Uncle.
They make it so difficult. Like,
people have sympathy in Nigeria. People have sympathy for Israel, irrespective.
Yeah, yes, I know.
I know.
But the neutral people, like,
what are the neutrals? Who are the neutrals?
I'm not talking Nigerians now. Let's say talk about people like who feel, well, I know how we dug in the fight. Okay. But then you're hearing all this thing every time.
My problem is that the majority of the Western countries support Israel. If they didn't support Israel, Israel will not be doing the nonsense they're doing. So again, it's like the way you say the whole world is handled them. I kind of get confused. Right? So the whole world is not angry with them. The whole world is not angry with them. In fact, like I was telling someone yesterday, why isn't Saudi Arabia, why isn't Oman, I'm talking of the rich Arab countries, why aren't they putting their feet down and telling America, you need to stop this shit? Why?
Because they sold out. Because they're sold out.
Okay.
They're Zionists.
I don't care if they're Zionists or not. My problem is that the whole world supports what Israel is doing. Again, America, unfortunately, look at it, is the leader of the free world. Anything the president does is what most people support. Which is why the number one mistake was never to allow Trump win. But Trump won. So it's what it is. He won. Yeah. He's going to take the foreign policy of America.
Can I be candid? The number one mistake is that Biden should have said he wasn't going for a second term, so they could have had but no, you know what I mean, that Biden shouldn't have had said, listen, I'm not going to do a second term earlier, so they could have had a Democratic who's going to be the nominee. And it's not that I do not like Kamala, but it was just sprung on people, right?
This has nothing to do with Kamala or Biden. The American people voted for Trump. It doesn't matter if Josh Shapiro was it.
I do like Josh Shapiro.
Americans wanted this. Americans wanted this. Again, like I always tell people, Americans wanted it, and we have to deal with the consequences of voting for somebody that you didn't vote for, but the majority of Americans wanted it. Now, they did a survey on Trump supporters. 74% of Trump voters support the war on Iran if necessary.
It's disgusting.
So they don't care.
They're stupid. They're stupid. Sorry, they are.
Sheeple.
Sorry.
But this is what happens when you have like Mike Johnson, Odie. Like,
No, authentic. Hold on, let's be real here. You have people in the Gaza movement, the pro-Palestinian people, who are shouting genocide Harris. The abandoned Harris movement. All people that refuse to vote for her, taking that Trump. I mean, you have Muslims going to say Trump is going to bring world peace.
right.
I want sympathy. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, no, my point was that, like, think about Mike Johnson, right? Like, Mike Johnson now has all these people, factions of, like, MAGA, loyalists or whatever, and some of the normal, like, Republicans. He doesn't know what the fuck to do. Like, people, having the fact that, like...
I was begging, kneeling down, crying, begging people during the midterms. Vote. They call me a Democratic shield, a dumb Democrat, I'm being paid, and what did they not call me a good? Oh, we are Democratic shields. I was begging, I said, listen,
you're not paid for by George Soros. Yeah, I know. I got the same thing.
No, not George Soros. No, I'm a centrist, so don't use George Soros. They call me a shield, a Clyburn shield, and I was begging them, don't allow the Republicans to take power. Now, let me tell you what the Republicans did when they took power. They brought in Claudine Gay. This protest by students in Harvard, you can see what they did to it. And I was begging, but people are wiser, so I mean, I don't know. I'll just be watching by the sidelines. That's my handwork now. Watching the sidelines, because you have prevented all this. Mike Johnson should never be speaker. He's dumb. He's a Christian nationalist. He has no charisma. He has never done anything in his life. He doesn't even have a bank account. That's a speak of.
I'm a centrist too. I'm a moderate, and I kept on saying, please vote for Trump. Don't. But a lot of people are regretting to this day that they vote for Trump. So, especially the Cubans in Florida.
Yeah, it's gonna be like how. Oh, I'm sorry, but I spoke over someone.
No, but sorry, I don't think. Let me just quickly say this. In 2020, I went door to door, knocking doors for people to vote, not to vote for Trump. They did, but I saw the sign this time around, and I told myself, I said, man, look, all that door knocking is not comfortable for me. I don't like it. I don't know what's behind the door. I'm not going to go this time around. I would only say it when I can say it. But if people decide that's what they want to do, fine. I said it back then. So 2024, I didn't go anywhere. I stopped this one out. I said, let's watch. And they were there for Trump. So, well, look, I don't know if anybody wants popcorn. I can supply popcorn, man. I'm going to watch all this drama. They're sitting down here. And they want Sprite too. House Sprite. Just let me know.
Yeah, we got a guy who can't even do the tariff thing right, and can't even govern Americans, or even like make people feel not safe, just normal. Anyone who's trying to go into a democratic city because they think that the governor's not running it, and just with no one saying that they should, just going in and taking people, and I mean he thinks he's king, so let him play king. Especially his own people now are even being like, he's not talking to us. That's going to be interesting. Like Christino, Tulsi Gabbard, all those people. Sorry about that.
I would have to speak on that when you just said, like, yeah, all I said is on the snap. I don't know if I said in this room or I know I said in other rooms. His whole MAGA support is about to implode inside because of him. And a lot of people pushing like, how? Give an example. You can just look. They're going to turn their back on him because he's a bullshit. He's not going to do nothing that they ask. He's doing everything he wants to do. at the end of the day, everything people had asked for and voted for, it's not going to do nothing. He said no wars. Okay, that's going to a war. He says no more inflation. I don't really know if that didn't change or not. He said cheaper groceries. Definitely don't see that. And he said he'll lower gas prices. Definitely don't see that. All we see so far is everything that's going in and the opposite of what everybody wants. And like the people that voted for him, it's like, oh, Biden's going to make us go to war with Iran and blah, 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 no war. Yeah. Then we're going to go to war with Iran. So it's like, they about to be fighting within. I think that anybody that's a liberal, Democrats, and whatever, how they want to put themselves, I think that people just need to sit down and just watch the fireworks fly because it's about to go up for them on that side.
But what are they gonna do? That's my whole thing is like, how are they going to go forward for the next? We have 3 more years of this guy. 3. You know, like it's not like this dude is like the fact that he, you know, is even like was joking about a 3rd term, and now some people are warming up to the fact that like, oh damn, maybe he's fucking for real. You know, like, so what do we do when dude just wants a 3rd term? He's like, you know, he's gonna call for some crazy ass move. I mean, he obviously wants a war with Iran, and he got into a fight with Pete Hegseth today, who's really, you know, buddy up with him, and to get into a fight with Pete Hegseth over the military, it's crazy. The dude, you could just tell he's embarrassed about the way that people perceive him, and that's fair. You know, be embarrassed, but don't fucking go to war because you're embarrassed. And that's a wild thing. Like, I think for most Americans who are waking up and being like, oh, are we going to war today because the president feels bad, and then being listened to for 4 years of, you know, a woman can't be president because they'd be too emotional. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, for real. Can I just and this is just like me just thinking out the box and stuff like that. I do agree. I feel like I don't know if the negotiating with Iran was being successful. I know not this Sunday that passed, but the prior Sunday that passed, they were in Camp David, right? The Trump administration, the whole cabinet, and Iranian officials were in Camp David. That Monday, he did a phone call with Bibi Netanyahu, who said, you know, the Iranians, they're very stubborn, but I'm sure we could make a deal. I'm sure we'll make a deal. Now, they were supposed to have one last meeting. I don't know if it was going to be successful. It might have. I think Bibi just tried to, in my opinion, I feel that Bibi was trying to, he felt that it was going to be successful, so he wanted to hit Iran first and make it seem like, oh yeah, it's all Trump's, me and Trump planned this out, this, that, and the third, but, and now Trump is in the back like, yo, he wasn't the one to feel humiliated that Bibi, who's also a narcissist, stepped over his toes. So this is just my guess. I'm not what does everyone else think?
Well, my next question is, why did Trump pull out of the first deal that everybody said was working? The Europeans said it was working. American intelligence said it was working.
Because it had Obama's name on it, that's why. Uncle, I'm being honest. You know how he is.
Remember when he tore up Obama's, is that what you're talking about, the deal they had with Iran?
Yep,
the actual
one. Yep.
The nuclear deal that actually would have prevented any of this stuff from happening. Meanwhile, you have people coming into the chat being like, well, we know that Iran, it's like, yo, your guy had it on lock. He had everything on lock. He took up a document and ripped it up because he didn't want to watch a former president succeed. And now that we're running into this issue, I don't want to. Bro, it's crazy.
And I also feel Bibi Netanyahu is taking. If you hear anything about Bibi Netanyahu, he knows he totally has an obsession with Iran. He's been talking about Iran making weapons of destruction and nuclear weapons since 1992. Ever since he's been in the Knesset, you know. Oh yeah, they're maybe weeks or months away, maybe a year away since 1992. It's 2025. All right, and then I think there was an interview, not with Fox 5 News, I think with ABC News, and he said, oh yeah, they're possibly again, really close to making nuclear weapons, maybe a week, maybe a year away. Again, you've been saying this since 1992, mister.
Yes, they think America's going to fall for it, and we actually might with this kind of leadership, which is the scariest part.
If we allow this leadership, yeah, the whole administration needs to go.
I don't think at this point. I think it's because I don't think Trump wanted to go to war with Iran. I think he did want to negotiate, but Bibi Netanyahu stepped over him, and now he can't look like a fool. The president of the free world, right? On quotations, was maneuvered and forced to get into this war because of Bibi Netanyahu, because he felt a certain way, his ego.
They're saying the plan was that we would never negotiate peace treaties, that we were just luring them in until they had a false sense of security, and then we would attack them.
I don't believe that. I don't. I think Trump did want to make a deal, and Bibi got scared, and Bibi hit first. And now he's forcing the United States, this was my opinion, he's forcing the United States to get into this war. And if the United States gets in a war, other countries are going to get into war.
Actually, I agree with you, Wednesday. I think that for all the shit that Trump's doing, I think he actually genuinely wanted to make a deal, but you can't do that through social media posts while you're at G7. Like, what did he think was going to happen,
Yeah, I agree.
No, I mean,
Bibi Netanyahu, he is a terrible tyrant.
Bibi has always wanted a war with Iran. He was not happy. If you remember, he and Obama did not get along. The problem was because of this bad deal Obama made. He's always wanted it. A lot of presidents have resisted it, but it looks like he's going to get what he wants right now. It's looking for a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Inevitable. It's going to happen sooner or later.
I really hope not. We just gotta pray. For those who believe in God, pray on it. For those of you who are spiritual, I don't know, birds of sage. Those of you who are atheists, I don't know. Or your representative.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. Let me go and hear some more Digi news before I come back. See you guys.
I wonder, Tucker Carlson said something about, Trump called Tucker Carlson a kook, I think. And now Trump's also saying that he can't trust his Secretary of State or whoever Tulsi Gabbard is.
Well, is he going to do that fire? Remember in his first term how many people in his administration he fired? It was like
the media's going to run with that. It's going to be the same thing as last time. He's going to go in and out through people. He's not going to have people to listen to, and he's going to be yes men to death.
And that's his whole plan. Interesting.
Right. But when you look at Project 2025, and you're like, oh, well, that's exactly what they wanted. They want yes people.
So you can't walk out of the G7 meeting saying you got bigger fish.
It's interesting too because the way that they treated him is so they were just like, oh my god, this guy. If that's the way that our world leaders feel about him,
right.
I don't know if anyone saw the video, but it was hysterical if it wasn't so tragic, you know?
Well, anybody at any of these G7 meetings, UN meetings, the countries with the most money are the ones that are going to be speaking up the most, listened to the most. So that's not us on any front right now. And to, on top of that, have zero reputation or poor reputation or poor social credit, whatever, however you want to put it, it's unacceptable. And however your emotions are, your investments are with this president, it's time to set it aside.
Can someone bring
the objective?
Oh, sorry, Water. Can someone bring JH up? Because he's in Iran. He's been wanting to talk about, I guess, like what's happening from his perspective. Mazuri, Patty, and Lisa, are you guys there?
Who you want to bring up?
JH was talking. The comment section is pretty long. It's just saying Trump will address the nation following a closed door security with the National Security Council at any minute. He's going to announce the war. And we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Oh, he loves.
I was just gonna say, I just saw this. I mean, I knew that there was a really bad attack on Ukraine from Russia yesterday. I just didn't know how bad it was. And interestingly enough, yesterday Trump was at G7, flattening, Putin for Putin and saying, it was a bad mistake that we kicked him out of the G7. He should be here. He's very upset about it. He's very hurt. And then Putin turns around basically and gives him a middle finger and overnight strikes, above board Ukraine with the biggest attack with drones and weapons and ballistic hits that they have had so far this year. The biggest attack. So Russia is going around doing whatever the hell they want. Israel is going around doing whatever the hell they want.
Literally gave him a middle finger, like a real middle finger, or a finger just
Figuratively, not at all. Like, yeah. No, sorry. Yeah, figuratively. But he has no control over Putin. Putin turns around and continues bombing and strikes and goes, escalates it even more.
Yeah, Russia owns Trump.
Israel.
Yeah. Right, Katrina? Russia owns Trump, not vice versa. Trump
I'm waiting for Water to say it's all the French.
Well, we're getting there. We're almost there.
Is JH here again, or no? I don't know if he's here. I'm interested to hear, like, from an Iranian point of view. That would be interesting.
Later on, there'd probably be a room where there'd be Iranians in it. I'll tag you in if you want to come later on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
What is up with that PTR, Authentic, speaking of the French?
Oh, yeah, with Macron?
Fake? Yeah, is
No,
that
that's
real?
real. Did you see the video?
Oh, Jesus
Bro.
Christ.
You guys need to watch the video. Macron and the girl, I don't know what her name is, the woman from Italy, she was eye rolling. And you could just tell they're just making fun of him, man. And that's why he went home. Like, that's really, like, if the war is to be blamed, it has nothing to do with Iran. It has to do with everything with his self-esteem. And, like, the fact that people voted for this motherfucker and he's just in here. It's wild. It's
Why
wild.
would they trigger him, though?
But here's the thing, like, that's going to be us. We're going to have to be the people. The American citizens are going to have to be the people being like, yo, please don't hurt our man. He's sad.
Yeah.
Let him pretend to be a dictator. And that's kind of what MAGA has been doing all along, right? We're like, no, we kind of know what his name is. Even though he doesn't really know, let him figure it out. And now we're at a place place where it's like, oh, we really need someone to like be a leader, and people are like, right? You see all these reposts about Obama being like, damn, the good old days when Obama came into the White House press secretary or the White House room, and the briefing room, and he's like blowing out a candle, and people want to talk shit on this app all day long about Obama and all this shit. I was never worried ever like this when Obama was in office. Ever.
No.
Ever.
I mean, I didn't like a lot of his foreign policies, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. He was a good statesman. I can say that.
Yeah.
I thought your PTR was Macron and Elon Musk's transgender daughter's son. That's who I thought.
No, that's from G7. No, Vivian. No. Vivian's having her own pride this month, I guess.
So
Yeah, I want to know how she's. Oh, my bad.
No, well, they're good.
That's all I wanted to add was I'm curious to know how Elon Musk's daughter is being used in all this.
I think she's just trying to live her life without being reminded every day that a billionaire's her dad. I think that's all.
You think so? You think it's that simple? Because it was very political. She just did an aid, or he just did an aid. She just did an aid.
An aid? What do you mean?
Like a war, like a Gaza aid thing.
Like relief help or something?
A relief aid show.
Yeah, a drag. She did like a drag show or something.
Exactly, but the fact that it was politically driven, it makes you wonder if she's receiving money from, because
From who? Like APEC? Like what do you mean? I think that's like a stretch.
from somebody, I don't know.
You know who, or are you just like wondering out loud?
I'm just wondering out loud. I have no
Okay.
idea.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, I saw this yesterday, and I'm not sure if anybody discussed this. There's just so much going on all at once. But did you see that Putin and Turkish president? Oh my God, what's his name again? I don't know why I went blank. But Turkish president and Putin met face to face, and they discussed the war of Iran and Israel, and their plans of helping reaching peace, which I thought was interesting. And then Trump posted, I didn't see this, apparently he posted this on Saturday. It's his tweet from Truth Social. He said, President Putin called this morning to very nicely wishing me a happy birthday, but then more importantly talked about Iran, a country he knows very well. We talked at length. Much less time was spent talking about Russia, Ukraine, but that will be the next week. He's doing the planned prisoner swap. Large numbers of prisoners are being exchanged immediately from both sides. The call lasted approximately 1 hour. He feels, as do I, this war in Iran, Israel-Iran, should end. To which I explained, his war should also end.
From Breadcrumb Truth Social, Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and what a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. Like, you know, and then in like another tweet, he was basically saying like, we could kill him, but we're not going to kill him now. Just out in the open like that. He's a child.
It's worse than child. Children aren't this disrespectful.
He had a post where people thought he was having a stroke because it almost seemed cryptic. Like he kept talking about when he left G7, let me go on Truth Social real quick. I actually have this, I downloaded this shit last night. Here's what he wrote. It's crazy. Okay. But damn, he's been right. Never mind. Let me scroll down real quick. Sorry, y'all. Got a new cat. Okay. So this was 14 hours ago, right? This was when people were like, "Yo, what's up? What's going on with this, bro?" He says, publicly seeking President Emmanuel Macron of France mistakenly said that I left the G7 summit in Canada to go back to DC to work on a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Wrong. He has no idea why I'm going back to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with the ceasefire. Much bigger than that. Well, whether purposefully or not, Emmanuel always gets it wrong. Stay tuned. So bro's feelings are hurt, and he's trying to do something. We don't know what it is. I can't wait until the people who voted for this dude are coming into this room and they're getting deprogrammed.
Not gonna happen.
I think it might.
Justifying it. No, we already have people who were, when Trump, they said, the reason why I voted for Trump is because he said he's gonna stop all the wars and blah blah blah. And all of a sudden yesterday, pretty much just saying, yeah, we should, the U.S. should go. We should start.
But Katrina, I have to say that there are a lot of other people in like the MAGA loyalist kind of community that are actually like not, like they're not ripping at Trump right now, but you're starting to see like an unraveling because of the way that Marjorie Taylor Greene's like backing Tucker Carlson with like, because Tucker Carlson's like, I don't really know if this is gonna work, and Trump's like, hey, he's a kook. Don't, anything that Tucker Carlson says, he can get a network. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's like, actually, like, what he's saying is, he's not like a crazy person. So they're kind of trying to grow a backbone.
Wait, we were talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson. I'm talking about people who believe in Trump. I'm talking about the MAGA true hard believers, right? That's not gonna change anything for them. They're gonna flip flop and justify and totally back him no matter what.
But I think that
yes.
Something about the war though, it shows some sort of hypocrisy, right? Like if El Normo were to come up here and be like, let's just pretend that he was like an American citizen, voted for Trump, all this stuff, right? And then he heard how dumb it would be if he were to be like, I wanted a no-war president. And then he gets that. And I understand the cognitive dissonance. Like, I understand when people can't admit it to themselves, like El Normo. But I also think that there's going to be people who are going to be like, oh, no, this isn't what we signed up for. Like, even though it's exactly what they signed up for, right?
I didn't know that Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke up running Tucker. That's the first time I learned that. And as far as I'm concerned, it's all hypocritical. This administration, everything's,
Yeah, you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, even like Candace Owens, people being like, or even Joe Rogan today. Joe Rogan was like, he should be impeached. Joe Rogan said that today. Joe Rogan, in the manosphere, the whole, red pill, whatever. Joe Rogan is saying he should be impeached.
Well, he did that on what basis? Why is he?
I would imagine because, Trump doesn't know what he's trying to do with war.
Well, I know, it's so scary. I mean, he doesn't know. I mean, he looks like he's aged. He's just, they didn't want him at the G7 conference, and he talks about Putin. Whole thing's.
Remember when Democrats were like, yeah, he's definitely like a little cuck for Putin? I don't really like that word, but I'll just kind of use it there. I hope people start like looking at this and being like, wait, why would the president leave G7? When he was there, he talks like he's pro-Putin, and then he leaves before Zelensky comes, and also in order to sign a thing standing firmly against Putin. Like, something has to wake these people up, because we don't have a lot of time.
Well, Putin has something on him. I mean, there's some serious angle here. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I agree, 100%. person. And this app for how many years has just been like doing race baiting and, you know, is it good? Is ICE good? Is it ethical for due process? And I'm like, yo. Anyways. I think we're probably going to start seeing a lot of ourselves starting to separate who's pro-war and who's not. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Some people are going to show their colors and be like, well, we need it because Iran, or we need it because Israel, or Palestine, or we need it because whatever. And it's just
so scary. It's just so scary that we have someone that really doesn't he changes his mind every other minute. I mean, you never know which side he's going to wake up on. I mean, that's not someone that you want to lead, in a situation of this nature. I mean, because this could very much, become another World War III, which we certainly would not want. And we don't want to go to war. I mean, our economy is not looking too strong.
Yeah. Hamas don't anything short their own people.
Hold on, Bobby. Do you want to have
You realize that Palestinians, Hamas is actually a government. Do you realize that?
Yeah, they voted for it.
For example, I just want to clarify
Palestinians to begin.
Sorry. Give me
Like the aid that sent.
Sorry, I just want to clarify something. To the Palestinians,
let her land her plane.
Hamas is a governing body. Whether you think they're terrorists, whether you don't, that's something besides the point. But a lot of Palestinians, some of them are against Hamas, but others actually support Hamas, and Hamas is a governing body. They're a government.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
How did they govern?
So
By
if I
blowing
label,
up buses full of Israeli kids?
For example, if I one day wake up and decided to
No, let her
the
finish her
USA
point. Let her
government,
finish her point. Go ahead.
one day I decided to wake up and call the British government, for example, the US government, a terrorist, that doesn't, strip them off of their governing, what's the word? Off of their governing rights. Or that's just something.
Let her.
So you guys keep labeling.
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
So you guys keep labeling them as terrorists and they're taking the money, and they're actually doing quite a lot in the region.
What are they doing?
Exactly. How are they doing a lot when you get 100% aid and Hamas takes 75% of that for their own people and then doles out 25%?
Hold on a second. I don't understand why. Hold on, Marshall. Why we're getting lost here? It's a very simple thing. Let the woman say what she has to say, and then everybody's gonna get a turn to rebuttal. You don't have to agree with her, but let's respect each other. This is why I blew up the last room. We all get our feelings. I want to fucking understand. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you people, and you may want to communicate me from the Jewish community, but it's the Jews in the room that can't have fucking mic control. When she's speaking, please stay muted. Thank you. Yeah, Giselle, land your plane, please.
Anyway, I want to go back to my original point, responding to Robbie. He mentioned that, we need to take accountability on both sides. So my response to him was, so haven't Palestinian kids been blown up for years, and haven't they been suffering post-traumatic